Scallywags, welcome to Under the Crossbones. I'm Nick Hoffman. This is episode 207. I am so glad you have decided to come aboard. Lots of fun stuff going on. I've been getting additional great feedback from folks regarding the episodes I've already recorded. I'm sure appreciative of that and encourages me to keep going and to try harder and to do better. Let's see. I think we're still out there on various channels. Again, I mentioned mistakes in previous episodes. I'm still trying to figure out the sponsorship thing. One thing I do know is that we still have a link on the page that takes you to Amazon. Now, here's how that works. Let's say that you got a hankering for something on Amazon. Now, normally, you would either Google the thing you were looking for, or you would go straight to Amazon and go to the search bar. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Next time you are feeling kindly towards me, towards pirates, towards the former host, Phil Johnson, next time you are feeling that way and you are feeling like you need to purchase something, why don't you come to our page and then before you do your search for your product, click on our link to Amazon, and then whatever you shop for, we get a little bit of money back. Tiny, minuscule amount of money. Not enough to get us in trouble, but maybe enough to cover the cost of, a new microphone or, not on your purchase. On everybody's purchase, maybe it'll help us pay for things that we got to do for the show. So that is what I'm asking you to do. Click on that Amazon link, then do your shopping. We'd sure appreciate it. I don't have anything fun for the number 207. I looked. The first thing, I knew I was in trouble when the first thing that Wikipedia mentioned for the number 207 is it's the natural number that follows 206 and precedes 208. That did not seem like enough to go on. So what I decided to do was to read you a poem. That's right, a little class act right here. And I think some of you might know this poem. I do not know, but let's give it a try. This is the pirate song from Peter Pan. Here you go. Avast belay, yo-ho, heave to, a pirating we go. And if we're parted by a shot, we're sure to meet below. Yo-ho, the pirate's life, the flag o' skull and bones, a merry hour, a hempen rope, and hey for Davy Jones. A vast belay when I appear, by fear they're overtook. Knots left upon your bones when you have shaken hands with Hook. Huh? Anyway, I thought I'd try a little culture. That's the best I could do for the moment. And I also want to put in a plug. Now, you, as we passed the holidays and everybody was doing their shopping on Amazon, think about what an opportunity, by the way, that would have been for you to have clicked on that, our link before doing your Christmas shopping. We probably could have afforded the rest of our Christmas shopping. I'm just saying. But listen, here's the thing I was going to say. During the holidays, it seemed like there were even more posts than normal about people stealing packages off of porches and then getting caught on video and things like that. And for the most part, these videos are accompanied by the title Porch Pirate. Porch Pirate. Go ahead and Google it, and what you'll find is that is the word that's used for somebody that steals something off of a porch. Now, as a bunch of pirates ourselves, you have to feel like that robs the word pirate of any nobility whatsoever, if there was any nobility to begin with. Here's why. Pirates had way more to do than just rip off something from something sitting around. Now, we would do that, for sure. But there was sailing, there was shooting, there was sword fighting. There was a lot of stuff going on to be a pirate. These are just folks that happen to be driving through a neighborhood and see a package on the porch and steal it. That's not pirating. That's not pirating at all. There's no skill. You just have to be able to turn your head and see. And that's not enough. So I want to propose a number of alternative titles for the term porch pirate. Here's some of the ones I've come up with. Package poacher. That's not bad. It's got the alliteration. I've got alliteration on a few of these, but I'm just saying package poacher. It doesn't quite trip off the tongue, but it's not bad. Box bandit. I think box bandit's got real potential. Box burglar, if you will. And then this one's a little more clunky, but I think it's fun. Parcel pilferer. I like those. I'm just saying, next time you are in company of somebody that's talking about a porch pirate, go ahead and correct them. Say, oh, do you mean a box bandit? Is that what you're saying? Are you talking about box bandits? Because pirates are something different. I'm a pirate, and we get to wear fun clothes. Those guys are normally just in jeans and a t-shirt, or worse. I'm just saying, we put a lot into our outfits. We put a lot into the style. We have music. Those guys don't have music. They don't have music. There's no shanties that go along with stealing something off of somebody's porch. Nothing. But we got songs that go along with the stuff we do. I'm just saying, it's a strong argument. I think you should back me up on this, and maybe we could get shirts made or something that has porch pirate, and then it's got a line through it, and then it says box bandit. I don't want to say we want to endorse that. I'm just saying we want to endorse the name change. Hey, we got a fun show today. I think you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. Partly because this guy's a lot of fun. This is a good guy. I've got on the show today Ace Miles. Some of you may know him better as Jack Spareribs. He looks a lot like Jack Sparrow, but he is a juggler. He's a magician, and he's a ventriloquist, gosh darn it. And so he puts all of that into his act. It's a lot of fun. He's performed all over California at fairs and other various venues. I'd seen him perform on Pier 39. He's just a hoot. And he'll probably, if you're in California, you probably have a good chance that you'll see him somewhere nearby. If you're looking for a piratey fun or a state fair or a county fair, you're going to see him. He's going to show up there. Speaking of state fairs, he had been at the California State Fair up until just recently. But now he uses that time for other county fairs. So, folks, enjoy the interview. This is episode 207 of Under the Crossbones, and I give you Ace Miles, a.k.a. Captain Jack Spareribs. Welcome to the show, Ace Miles. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing swell. I've been cleaning all morning, so this is a happy reprieve.
This is my procrastination.
Bingo. Hello. That's what my wife calls it. Anyway, hey, Ace. Now, a lot of people that listen to the show may have seen you as Jack Spareribs. Some may have not. Can you tell us a little bit about your character, Jack Spareribs?
Sure. Jack Spareribs is indeed a parody of Jack Sparrow, obviously, just by the name. But I look like Jack Sparrow-ish, although I don't have a lot of the signature pieces of jewelry and such for trademark reasons. That's what makes you a parody is, you change the look a little bit, but you have to look enough like him so that the audience knows who he is. Disney would want you to change like 50 or 60%. The law is more like 20 or 30 or something. But because you have to be recognizable. I couldn't just be dressed as a pirate.
Sure.
So, all that said, I adamantly throughout the show proclaim I'm not that guy. I'm not Jack Sparrow. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm an actual real pirate. You can tell by the smell. And the jokes go from there. I mean, that's kind of the whole tongue-in-cheek thing of, no, I'm not. Kids, but you look just like him. No, I don't. He looks like me. It's that kind of thing. That
right.
It's just I'm not taking myself seriously at all. I make fun of the whole Jack Sparrow thing, but obviously not because I don't like it. It's more of a tribute sort of thing as well.
Sure. And now, just to give listeners a little bit of an idea, you combine that parody with audience participation and, most importantly, magic.
Well, yeah. So from the pirate end of it, I'm a Jack Sparrow parody look-alike-ish thing. But then you see my show, and you say, "Oh, he does more stuff." I do magic, I do juggling, I do ventriloquism, I do puppets, and really, really bad pirate jokes. That's the shtick. And so I've been doing magic since I was about 5 years old. When I was 6, I went to Disneyland and went to the magic shop on Main Street and the magic shop in the castle when there was one, and rode a particular ride about pirates. That there wasn't just a ride about pirates. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on with pirates because it was 1968, which was a year after they had put the ride in.
And so they were still promoting it heavily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was all the usual stuff. So they had a pirate band out there. They had, they were firing the cannons on the Columbia.
Yes.
And they had stripy shirt guys. And then they had like a pirate kind of a guy. And it was fun. And I was sold. But I knew I liked magic already because of a little trick I found that used to be my mother's, that was in a magic set of hers. And then my aunt got a book from the library and helped me learn a trick while she was trying to teach me to read. It all took off from there. I went to the magic shop and went, "Oh my goodness." And it was over. Literally, boom, that was it. When I was 7, I saw my first live magic show at a spaghetti feed dinner for the Indian Guides group I was in. Just a random thing. It was like, "Oh, wait, you can actually do this. It's not just little tricks. This is happening on stage and people are watching, and oh my God, that's what I want to do."
Right.
And so from that point on, everything was pointing at becoming the next Houdini. Or, that was my goal, was to become as big as Houdini. Of course, that's not as easy as it seems.
Right.
And I didn't have the internet back then. And I didn't even know there was a magic shop in town until I turned 10.
And then you're like, "Hey, wait, look at this. It's in town."
Right. So, and then it was just one little counter in a costume shop until the guy that ran that opened his own shop and became a real live magic shop. And, but I grew up with the magic shop growing up in town. And when I was 16, I got to go to the Magic Castle for a Sunday brunch. Yeah. We had a Boy Scout Explorer post in Palo Alto. And the leader there was a member of the Magic Castle, friends with everybody down there, and got our whole group, like there was a half dozen of us kids, maybe 8 at the most. We'd all go down with a couple of chaperone adults and visit the castle for a Sunday brunch, visit Hollywood Magic. And it was, for a 16-year-old kid that wanted to become a magician and couldn't wait to get out of high school, this was like, oh my goodness, there's a world of this out here.
How crazy is it? How crazy is it that the leader of your group happened to be a member of the Magic Castle?
Yeah, it just, I got lucky. That was the biggest break I had. Literally, I was living in a little box in the Bay Area, didn't really know anything, came from a really poor family. Didn't have access to stuff. The library was my big thing, which is why I still perform at libraries, because, man, the books they had in there were gold.
Exactly.
I met magicians there who came and performed, who were still friends. And, that was my world, was, having to build stuff yourself. And so when I grew up and needed to build a pirate ship, it was like, well, yeah, I'll just build it myself. And everyone says, wow, how much did you pay to have that built? No, I had to buy all the metal and buy a welder on Craigslist, but my daughter and I built that. So I guess, the way my wife put it, at one point when I was all depressed and having issues and saying, I wanted to be famous, before I was old, and now I'm old and I haven't even come close to being famous. And she was like, well, but you have.
Right.
And she, sat me down and, shut me up and pointed out all the stuff that had happened and all the people that I had entertained and made happy. And she was right. And you can't drive that point home more than I had a call. This was 10 years ago, I guess. A call from someone that wanted to book a show, asked me if I did this, did that. Yeah, I'd have I'm sure. Yep, that's the show. And they had seen it before. You're the guy. Perfect. Excellent. So they were fishing around for, if I was the same guy that they had seen like 25 years ago.
Wow.
Turns out, or not 25 years ago, it was 20? Gosh. Yeah, 20 years ago. The daughter had turned 5, and they had me at her birthday party.
Wow.
And they were calling to have me back at her birthday party. And I went, wait, whoa, oh, no. It's an adult show. There's all adults in the audience. Okay, no, that's a different show. They said, no. We want the same show you did 20 years ago. She had your videotape that you gave her at the party and watched it every day until it wore out. And we tried to find you to buy another one. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that really makes, puts in perspective, makes you go, okay. And then early in my street performing career, when I got back into performing and became the pirate, I was out on the stage in the front of Pier 39 for a special event, actually being paid by the pier, more of a promotion thing. But it got me seen by someone going by, and he came up and said, hi, handed me his card, looked at it. Magician. Nice to meet you, fellow magician. Nice to see you. And he said, no, you don't understand. I saw you when I was 5. And ever since then, I wanted to become a magician, and now I am. And so that was like, okay, I get it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it was, excuse me, that kind of stuff makes you go, oh, wow, that okay, so you're making an impact, and that's really what you're here for, so okay. But at the same time, you still want to make money, and you still want to go perform at the Magic Castle someday. And
eating is nice, and rent is nice.
Right. Nice edit point there.
You know what? I'm leaving that one just for that reason.
Oh, perfect.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, just to bounce back for a second, are there pictures when I eventually give a link to your stuff? Are there pictures of your ship?
Yes, there is actually on my website. There is video of a representative performance that I do lately with the ship in the background. Also, there's footage of Maynard on the main stage at one of the early Pirate Fests, like 2009 or 10.
Now tell folks who Maynard is.
Yeah, I'm a ventriloquist, and Maynard is my character. He used to be a rabbit, but he went through a transformation.
He identified as a monkey.
He is identifying as a monkey.
Good for him.
Yes. Yeah. The rabbit was because I was a magician.
Sure.
And it made sense. Big, goofy white rabbit cartoon character. I literally had 2 of them so that I could keep one clean at all times and rotate them out. So I took one of them and literally transformed him into a monkey. And that became Maynard the talking monkey. Very similar characters, but now Maynard has got his own piratey-ness, his own thing going on. I can't give him an accent. I have a really hard time doing ventriloquism with like a pirate accent or British accent even.
That's funny. So wait, let me just be clear. You can do an accent, but Maynard's unable.
Yeah, in fact, Maynard and I switch voices in the show. You've seen that.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Switch. Right. People don't even think about it. It's just part of the thing. It's like, he says, no, I make you talk. I say, no, you don't. He says, yes, I do. I say, that's ridiculous. He says, say it again. And I say it again, and nothing comes out. And eventually he says, I can't hear you. And that's when people kind of giggle because, oh, wait, he's still talking, but he's not talking. But you're just not moving your mouth. Little kids start yelling. And eventually, I'm obviously yelling and nothing's coming out. And then he says, I say, well, I make it clear what I'm trying to say is, where's my voice?
Right.
And that's when Maynard suddenly says, I got it. But he says it in my voice,
Right.
not his. And that's when the crowd just goes, wait, what?
Right, because they didn't know Maynard does impressions.
Right. And the thing is that they don't notice, or if they do, they don't say anything. He doesn't have an accent at all.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's Ace. It's Ace talking, not Jack Spareribs. Because Jack Sparrow's also like this. He's got an accent, kind of like Johnny Depp a little bit, but not really, because I have to be able to belt stuff out on stage loudly. So I have to do the bellowy thing instead of talking like Johnny Depp into a microphone slowly and seductively. Savvy.
That was kind of Ace. That was kind of sexy.
Well, hey, just Johnny Depp and all.
All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah. We'll edit that out.
No way.
Oh, damn. Wait, I'm watching this waveform go by. I'm like, I could edit that, couldn't I? I could just get this little cut tool. Where's the cut tool? No,
it's under my control. Gone. I'm making you talk.
Yes, I'm a dummy. I get it.
No, not even. So anyway, and by the way, that's a great part of the show. I think people, by the time you take that to, you get to the point where you do your own impression of you, but he's doing it. It's such a great folding in on itself, both conceptually and the way you perform it. It's really a nice piece.
Well, thanks. There's also there's a point now. We've gotten to a point sometimes, not always, but there's different levels that we take this to now that I will let it go to. And part of that is when I get so upset. We are arguing literally back and forth. And I get so upset that I lose my accent because I'm yelling at him. I forget the crowd is there. I'm just like, look, would you just stop it and just do the script? And he looks at me and goes, what happened to your accent? And I look at the crowd and go, oh, I mean, just shut up and do the show.
That's great. That's some good stuff right there.
Well, no, it's obvious signs of psychosis, I think.
Well, yeah, but that's what I meant. That's some good stuff right there. I was speaking more as a counselor.
You don't understand. I don't write scripts. There is no script. This just comes out. It's kind of scary.
So, what was that? There was so tell folks some of the places that your act has taken you.
Oh, well, I've lately been performing at county fairs and the California State Fair. I was at that for the last 5 years. I will not be there this year. They have gone a different direction.
Their loss.
Well, yeah. Mine too, though. So I'm available in July. Thank you. There's that obligatory plug.
Sure.
No, I'm actually going to a convention this weekend up in Reno to book more fair shows, the Western fairs. I take my ship up and I show them the new things that I've got. I've actually performed at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno. Previous to going there for the fair conventions, I was there as Jack, just doing strolling stuff. They used to have a first Friday of the month festivities thing, and Frank Olivier, the world famous juggler, has performed there. A couple of other performers from Pier 39 went, but that was a fun one because it was just so random. Just here's a pirate in the casino walking around doing card tricks.
Right. You know what though?
I mean, really, that's what it was.
But I that's great though, because both almost everybody that works for the casino is some sort of pirate. So that's right. That's good that you just came out and came as you were. That's good.
But I've performed all up and down California. Literally at the very top, there's a fair in California where there's no motels near it, and the closest motel is in a different state.
Really? What fair is that?
That is the Tule Lake Butte Valley Fair, and you end up staying in Klamath Falls.
Yeah,
Oregon. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
And I've performed all the way down at the bottom of California at the Imperial Valley Fair, the Imperial Valley Fair and Midwinter Fair and Fiesta. And it's 10 miles away from the border of Mexico.
Wow.
And I've performed in Arizona a few times at the Yuma County Fair, at private events. I was at what do you call that? A resort in Chandler, Arizona, big like Sheraton resort, and they hired me for their employees. Actually, it was a thing in January.
Oh, that's great.
When they get to celebrate their holidays. So yeah, it was fun. I was entertaining all the people that are usually busy serving other people.
Right.
So it was kind of pretty cool. And the place, the place they put me up, and the food they fed me was amazing.
Even better.
Oh yeah. Some really, really wealthy people stay there. But it was like empty. They weren't there. There was hardly anyone actually there. It was just these people.
Right.
So I kind of had the place myself, and they treated me like royalty.
That's great.
But I've performed. It looks like I will be performing in Oklahoma in 2021 at their state fair. We are in talks. I'm not available this year because I'm at the Tulare County Fair again in September this year. So I can't go to Oklahoma, but it looks like I'll be doing that in the future. So aside from the fairs and things, I started off again with my career at Pier 39 and the streets in San Francisco, street performing, after I got laid off at my job with what was or had just become Sega.
Gotcha.
It was one of these things where they bought a smaller company and then eventually ate it. And right before that, we were a Sega company at the time. I got laid off along with a bunch of other people, and I saw it coming for about 2 years.
Right.
It was a small company that, they were having issues, hadn't really made a full game, and I had worked on 5 AAA titles by that time. So I knew how games were supposed to be made.
And you could see that just wasn't happening.
Kept my head down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I put together a plan, and my plan was, I guess if I have to, I wanted to become a pirate performer again, or become a pirate performer. And I had done some shows as Jack. I had done some shows with Tales of the Seven Seas.
I remember.
Pirate group in the Bay Area. That's right. Many members were at your wedding.
Yeah. Quick backstory for listeners. The way Ace and I first came to know each other is when, and I just mentioned this on the website, but I was having a pirate wedding. My wife and I did a search for somebody that could officiate that was pirate in background, which is hard. It should be harder than it was. And I reached out to Tales of the Seven Seas, and they turned me on to Mr. Greg Medley, and that he had just performed a wedding. And when he agreed in the kindness of his heart to do this, he said, I could bring some of the folks that I do pirate stuff with, and they could be like ushers or hang out at your wedding. And I said, really? Really? And he goes, well, it sounds like a great party. Let's see if they'll come. And you and I don't know, 5 or 6 folks came along. And look, first of all, to get everybody dressed as pirates that are non-pirates in the wedding was already kind of cool. I mean, we had only one person that didn't come as a pirate, and we threw that guy off the cliff.
Right.
But then when they saw you guys, they're like, wow, this is amazing. So no, that was a hoot, and that was a fun group of folks.
Oh yeah. So that's kind of how it started. Was I did Halloween every year, big, as most magicians do and performers do. It's a big, chance to dress up or try new things. And so I heard that the movie was being made, and I wasn't too happy about it because, as Disney has proven in the past, they can take a ride at an amusement park and turn it into a movie. And make it so bad that the ride in the amusement park goes away.
Right.
Does anybody remember the Country Bear Jamboree? Do you remember that there was a? Do you remember there was a movie about it?
Yeah, I don't think I never saw the movie, and I missed.
Thank goodness.
I missed that ride all the time.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to miss Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, exactly.
So I was actually doing a protest. I was in revolt. I was rebuilding the ride in my front yard in protest of the movie with that guy from 21 Jump Street. I'm thinking, what the heck are they doing? Then, about a month before Halloween, when I had built all this stuff and had it all ready to go, a friend of mine showed me a clip, and I won't say who or where I saw it, but, someone that might have worked on something that had to do with something or something. But I saw something. It was Johnny in just a kind of a boring shot. No special effects or anything. It was the scene where he walks up to the two redcoat officers and they're like, "Hold it there, stop right there, right. State your name and purpose." And he's like, "All right, then, I'll confess. It's my intention to commandeer a ship, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise peel from my weasel black guts out." And I was like, "What? Who is that? Johnny? What? That?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I have to do that for Halloween." And I tried to put together a costume at the last minute, and oh God, it was horrific. Oh, but it was better than most of the neighbors had seen.
Sure.
And most of them didn't know that Johnny Depp was even doing a movie because it hadn't come out yet, actually, I don't think. Or it had just come out and people hadn't seen it yet. But neighbors came up about 2 weeks later and said, "Hi, we saw you at Halloween. We have a weird question. Our kids won't shut up. They loved your pirate character you did for Halloween. Could you come to their birthday party?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you about birthday parties." And I proceeded to tell them that I, was a magician, a juggler, a ventriloquist, and sure, I could come dressed as a pirate and do all that. And they said, "Great, we'll pay you for it." I said, "You know what? I used to charge like $300. I'll charge you like $100 just because I don't do it anymore and it'll be fun." And they're like, "Thanks, great." And they went away. My wife looked at me and said, "You know what you just told them, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, I do magic, juggling, ventriloquism." "Oh my God, why would a pirate have a rabbit?" And that was where Maynard was born. Right there, I literally had 2 weeks to go. So,
wow.
Bye-bye, Dudley, and hello, Maynard.
Now, the clean Dudley, is he in a box somewhere, stares at you all the time, wonders why he doesn't get to come along?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, one more side story. Oh my goodness. I thought I had lost him because I have moved. Since I made Maynard, we had moved to Hayward again. Then my wife passed away. And then I moved very rapidly out of Hayward to Elk Grove. And everything went into boxes and storage. And then a lot of it got ruined by cats because I ended up living with a bunch of cats. Long story.
I got you. No worries.
I had a big scare because I went to find him because I need to rebuild a new Maynard. This one is getting beaten up. He's like 12, 13 years, 14, 15 years old now. I don't know.
Right. And he does all his own stunts.
And he does. And so his head has been ripped off in the pirate ship overnight by marauders at a fair. Literally 4-H kids or teenagers who wanted to fornicate in the pirate ship or something and found, "Hey, look, what's a suitcase? What's this? Oh, look. Hey, rip. There goes his head. Well, throw that over there." His head was in one corner. His body was in another. They didn't take anything. They just, it was like a bunch of pirates had gotten in there and, ransacked the place. But, so I realized, okay, I need to make a new one. And I went to find, I didn't want to take this one apart. And I don't want to ruin my old one. I don't want to I'd like to keep a Dudley the rabbit just for keepsake.
Sure.
But I could seam rip him a little bit in the back, open him up easily, and look inside and go, "Oh, okay, I need to fix that part. Maybe I can make that better. I'm going to rebuild the shell out of the foam, because I still have the same foam that they gave me at Great America. It was one of the costumers that built the big walkabout characters. And she had seen my puppet and said, the way to do it is to build 2 of them. And this one's kind of heavy. Doesn't it kind of hurt your arm? I said, yeah. She said, here's this foam. Go home. Blah, 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 blah. And boom. My life changed. So I want to rebuild him, and I'm in the process of it. I'm about halfway through. But I needed to find the old Dudley. And I finally found him in a box, in a like a crate, plastic crate, buried inside of another box. Buried in one of those heart attack materials where it's like, no, I can't be. And then so now he's safe in a box, and I check him regularly to make sure he's okay.
Sure.
And,
poke holes in the box, that sort of thing.
Right.
Make sure he has air.
Yes.
Just think, if you had kept both bunnies, by now you would have had hundreds of bunnies.
Yeah. You had to keep them separate.
Yeah, totally understandable, because you don't have to feed all them.
Right. No.
Hey, I did this, I don't know, I think it was the last show, and I think it went well. And since you're a magician, I'd like to do this for you. I do a magic trick, which, again, I pointed out last time, very underutilized on podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you this quarter. You see this quarter?
Sure.
Okay. So it's heads on one, tails on the other. What's the year it says there?
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, okay. It's 82. That's okay. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it in this glass. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to take a handkerchief. I'm going to put it over the glass. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll say a magic word, one that's approved for all audiences. I believe Hocus Pocus comes up, abracadabra, holy tamale. Anyway, and I wave my hand over it, and then go ahead and pull that cloth back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know.
That's amazing.
I know. And then now go ahead and reach inside your pocket.
Wow.
I know. At 1982, right there.
That's amazing.
I know. I didn't study for a long time, but being that it's a podcast, I can pull off a lot of stuff here.
Well, but I got to say, as a magician, I'm not convinced that you actually put the quarter in the glass in the first place, because I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it drop in the glass.
I was going to add that in Foley later.
Yeah. That would be. Yeah.
This is the part I'm editing out, Ace.
This is a good part to edit out.
Well, that's all right. It doesn't always work, is all I'm saying. But
it's funny.
Yeah. So anyway,
I love it.
Hey, so now, you got invited to be part of a special pirate group as an honor.
Yes.
Right? Can you tell folks what that was?
I was inducted into the Order of Leviathan, and that was 4 years ago. Now
they have people come in every 2 years, right?
Yes. It's 12 plus a 13th. There's a 12 voted in and one sort of can't remember what they call it, but an extra. So there's 13 each every 2 years.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And I think this is the next time, because it was 4 years ago that you were in.
Yes.
It's like the Olympics. You try to remember when it's happening.
Right. The voting was just happening, and the nominations were put in before the end of the year, and it's happening again.
That's exciting.
And I believe the induction is going to happen again in Long Beach.
Right.
Again.
That's exciting.
I was inducted in Florida, in St. Augustine.
How exciting! Now, was that the first time you had 2016.
been? 2016.
Was that the first time you'd been? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big party there.
St. Augustine was amazing. The folks out there, the members out there that put this on, and then with the local pirate group out there, that in the historic little section, I can't remember the name of the place. It's escaping me right now. But it was a little tavern sort of a place, and it had a little backyard area with some big wooden tables with lanterns hanging from the trees and stuff, with a little wooden stage in the back, and it looked like something right out of history. And here we are, all dressed and drinking rum with, candlelight and dim glowing. They had bulbs up, but they were well disguised. It didn't feel like modern day anything. And you're there with all your other mates, and boy, it was, it felt, yeah, okay, I'm a pirate now. It was like, it was incredible.
That's fantastic.
It was insane. I also got to go to Disney World and go to the Magic Kingdom with my daughter in the same trip, so that was cool. And then we went to Universal to see, just specifically for her to see the Harry Potter stuff, which was just off the hook. And so the whole trip was like mind blowing.
Now, I know that you've performed both not as Jack and just as Ace. Have you been doing any of that lately?
That's a good question. I have. Well, I have been planning to. I kind of have, put it that way. I haven't done that professionally again yet. I've performed for friends.
Gotcha.
Just the other night, I went out to a 12th night dinner event with a bunch of other Renaissance people and steampunk people and knights in shining armor, literally. And I just showed up not in my usual Jack attire. I looked like Ace. I was in a little suit and stuff with a tie.
Sure.
And they were like, who's this? But I did some tricks just because I have a whole bunch of new stuff I'm working on, and I don't get to do it in shows because it's not in the show yet.
Gotcha.
So I had to get actual audience feedback on it finally. And it was fun, and it killed, and I do plan on doing more of that. In fact, I've been searching for work in like tableside magic at restaurants, for example, or bars. I haven't seen a lot of that around the area I'm in yet.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe there is, and I'm just not seeing it because I'm not actually home a lot. But that's the plan, is to find a couple of places that want some entertainment a couple of nights a week or something, or maybe a couple of nights a month even, when I'm in town.
Sure.
And it's a good way of getting seen out there, keeping crisp and, ready to go. But you book a lot of private and corporate work that way. Otherwise, people see you and think, oh, you're going to be great for my kid's party. But when they see you doing close-up magic, sleight of hand, or mind reading, mentalism stuff, they know that's not for kids. So
right.
Like, wait a minute, you do adult stuff, don't you? Hey, cool. So it's kind of the only way of really advertising that is to get seen. People don't go out of their way to look for it until they see it, and then they're like, wow. But lately, magic is a big thing, thanks to America's Got Talent and Penn and Teller Fool Us shows and things like that. Shin Lim, the magician that won America's Got Talent with his card magic, is absolutely phenomenal, and very different style from what I do or from what many magicians do. And not all of us have a big screen behind us with the camera so everyone can see. But it's a really great thing to do, in person, because people look at you and say, wait a minute, now I saw that guy on TV, but this is right in my hand. Oh my God. And it's a wonderful thing to bring to people close up in their, in their city. They're not expecting it. It's kind of fun. And so the restaurants that take advantage of that sort of entertainment, they benefit.
Yeah, because, well, it's funny. I was tying this back to also, I was thinking I've seen a lot of pirate performers, having gone to a lot of fairs and things. And while I every now and then see somebody juggle, and they do a fine job, it's not often that you see pirate magicians.
There's a few.
But it doesn't come up as often as I would have assumed. You know what I mean? Like it seems like that's an opportunity at the pirate fairs and fairs where there is already a lot of whimsy going on, magic would seem to fit right in.
Right.
So I'm surprised there isn't more.
Yeah, I am too. I'm kind of glad there isn't, at least in this area. But it's true, and there are a few scattered throughout the states. I think there's one I can think of in the UK, but I'm the only one that I know of that does magic and juggling and ventriloquism. And I'm starting to downplay the juggling because I'm getting older and it hurts.
Sure.
And I'm always in the sun, in the heat. And it's like, I don't need to do this necessarily. If I was street performing, it's always a helpful thing to light something on fire and throw it in the air. But that's about all I use it for in my act now. Is just a crowd gathering tool.
By the way, I find as a parent, it is often helpful to light something and throw it in the air. And
Yes.
the kids really straighten up and pay attention.
Oh, especially when it's one of the kids.
Totally. But
Right.
it's weird. Many people don't realize this. Kids not as flammable as you might think. You need to use an agent
Yes.
to help. Okay, well that got morose, but that's okay. Hey, so tell us a website where folks can find you.
There's two, and they're the same essentially. One is jackspareribs.com, and that's JACKSPARERIBS, Spareribs. And the other one is Pirate for Hire. The word pirate, the number 4, and the word hire, HIRE.
I will make sure that when folks go to the show notes, that those links will be there, so that folks looking for a way to hire you, or just a way to reach out and say that you blew them away and they love what you do, they'll be able to reach out and do that.
Cool.
Yeah, Ace, thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Well, thanks for having me. This was fun.
For sure. And folks, if you want to reach out to Ace, you have the websites. Go look for him. Tell him how much he means to you, or tell him where you'd like to see him. Sound good?
Excellent.
All
nice
right.
talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ace. Thanks for coming. Bye. And that was our interview with Ace Miles. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure good talking to him. We go back a ways. And it was great to get to spend some time with him. And I hope if you know Ace, or even if you don't, that you enjoyed spending time with him yourself. Again, thank you so much for listening to the show, for sharing this with your friends and sharing. I post on Facebook and other places. If you would be so kind as to also share a link to the show next time you're listening, and let folks know about the show. We'd love to have more people listening, and that would be great, because we will build this world together. Folks, remember that the real treasure is not silver or gold, but it's friends, family, and fun, and laughter. And I want you to go out and get yourself some. All right? Take care of yourself. Be nice to each other. Thanks again. I'm Nick Hoffman, and this is Under the Crossbones.